Hi, family and friends, and welcome to another edition of Motivational Monday here at Westwood Baptist Church University Center. And we're excited about what we're trying to do to be motivated on Monday, to motivate us to become better Christians, better church people, better family members, just to be a better person overall. This month we've been trying to focus on community outreach and how we could do things to better ourselves, to motivate ourselves, to reach out to others in our community that's less fortunate than us. Now, a lot of us want to use the excuse, it's cold outside. Okay, it is. But some of us might say, well, I don't want to move because the pandemic is going on. It is. But we still can be motivated to become better Christians so Christ can use us to be a better witness and a better helper to others. Today, we have a special guest from the Bethlehem Centers of Nashville, an organization that's been around since, I believe, 1894. And we have Ms. Yolanda Thompson, and I would like for her to introduce herself to us and tell us her title at the Bethlehem Center.
Good evening. I'm Yolanda Thompson, and I'm the Senior Programs Director for the Bethlehem Centers of Nashville.
Okay, so Ms. Thompson, how long have you been with the Bethlehem Centers of Nashville?
Since 2016.
Yes. And so I'm familiar with the Bethlehem Center because I've been doing some work there. But I would like for you to tell our audience what are some of the things that y'all are doing with the Bethlehem Center and how the Bethlehem Center is making an impact in the North Nashville community.
Okay, so the Bethlehem Center consists of a number of programs. We have a child development facility, the 15th Avenue North Learning Center within the Bethlehem Center, which serves children from ages 5 to 12. We have a youth development program. We also have adult programs, senior club, a hot lunch cooperative, which is known as our Meals on Wheels program, and we also participate in a number of outreach programs.
So if I was to ask you to tell me one unique thing about the Bethlehem Centers of Nashville, what would be that thing?
In my opinion, the most unique thing is this organization is structured on a very light staff. We have 12 elected board members, and we have 8 full-time staff and 10 part-time staff that keep this operation up and going.
Okay, and so how is the Bethlehem Center funded to keep all these programs going in the North Nashville community?
We're funded strictly by grants. We write grants and ask for support from other organizations in order to keep our building and operations up and going.
Me being a Nashville transplant, a Nashvillian transplant, I've often heard talking with Nashvillians about the Bethlehem Center and how it had had an impact in the John Henry Hale projects and other communities in the North Nashville communities. So I heard you earlier state that y'all have a child and youth development program. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, so the child care facility is not necessarily a part of the Bethlehem Centers. It's a subleased area where we have a daycare for children going from infants to age 4 in preparation for kindergarten. As far as the youth development program, we service kids from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. We have vocational services, we do youth services, we do field trips, we have a STARS program that's sponsored by NASA. We have summer camp. We also have it's a work summer program that's sponsored through the mayor's office called Opportunity Now, which allows teens age 15 and up to 18 to be able to get the opportunity to work throughout the summer while actually engaging with others, just to name a few things.
Mm-hmm. So I heard you mention the youth development program, and so the CEO of the Bethlehem Center is a product of the Bethlehem Center. Can you talk to us about the CEO of the Bethlehem Center and the vision? We affectionately call him Mr. Steve, Mr. Steve Fleming, but can you tell us about Mr. Steve and as the CEO, a product of the Bethlehem Center and his vision for the North Nashville community?
It's my understanding that he grew up in the Bethlehem Centers. He got his shots and attended programs himself there. Then he went on to college. I take that back. His first job was at the Bethlehem Centers in their child care program. And then he went off to college and came back and continued to work within the organization until he became the CEO. And his mission is to ensure that we promote self-reliance, reliance, and positive life choices within the North Nashville community.
Again, we call this Motivational Monday. One thing I like about Mr. Steve is that he is motivated, he's dedicated, and he loves and is very passionate about what he does at the Bethlehem Center. I've had the opportunity to work with him, not only with the youth that's in there, the babies, but even with the seniors in the Bethlehem Center. I have never not seen Mr. Steve go above and beyond his normal duties as a CEO to make sure that the Bethlehem Center is running, to make sure that the youth are provided for, even delivering meals, which we will talk a little bit about later, to the, some of the seniors in the Meals on Wheels program. So with the youth that comes there and you're working with the mayor's program, how does that motivate the youth to develop a good working habit?
Well, it starts out by they apply within their schools, and once their applications are vetted, then we select the individuals out of the top few. They come and we actually put them through an interviewing process. We are preparing them for what the future holds, which requires them to dress up, to learn how to speak properly, how to present themselves, the importance of first impressions. And Mr. Steve is hands-on in this process from start to finish.
Yeah, I really love this because we're investing in our leaders for tomorrow, whereas so many people have written our youth off or saying, they don't want to listen. I love the way that the Bethlehem Center is impacting this North Nashville community and how it's motivating these youth to become better leaders, or to be better people, and to become our leaders of tomorrow. And so I see that you said that y'all have minimal staffing.
That's correct.
But y'all have such a great impact with minimal staffing. How do y'all do that?
It's teamwork. There is that slogan, teamwork is a dream work. That is true. We not only operate in our own position, but we also cross into others' position and assist where it's needed in order to keep us going.
Okay, so we've talked about the youth and the children and youth development programs. So you're over the adult and senior program. So I know that you're passionate about that. So let me just throw out my plug. I work with Mrs. Thompson as the president of the Greater Charlotte Hot Lunch Program. And so I work hand in hand with her to make sure that we're feeding the seniors in North Nashville. And I started working with them back in 2006. And I think we started off feeding maybe 50 or 60 seniors when I was in there. Can you talk to us about your programs and what do you do working with the seniors in the Bethlehem Center?
Well, today we currently serve 215 seniors. We serve them a hot lunch meal 5 days a week. That's Monday through Friday. This program is successful with the assistance, or I would better say with the partnership of 12 churches and 3 standby churches. This also consists of 16 routes. Our meals program is divided up into 16 different routes within the North Nashville area, and we are totally dependent on our volunteers. The volunteers are the lifeblood of this program because without them, we couldn't get the food out to the community.
One thing I love about this program and is that, again, we don't take any funding from the federal government for this hot lunch program. We don't take any federal funds. Let me say that again. We don't take any federal funds from the federal government to feed these seniors in our community. How do we make that happen? Going from when I started feeding 60 seniors to feeding well over 200 seniors, how did we make that happen?
We've been blessed with a number of tremendous partners. They go above and beyond to keep us afloat, and we go above and beyond to show our appreciation for their assistance. We write grants for our funding. We have to go out and do interviews, do presentations, and show them how the funds that they're granting us are best served within the North Nashville community.
And we have, she talked about 12 churches that actively cook each month. A church will rotate. And so we want to commend our 12 active churches and our 3 standby churches, the pastors and the parishioners of those churches who volunteer and contribute each month to make sure we get these meals out. What does a typical day consist of when we're preparing meals for a senior to go out?
Well, it starts with the coordinator from that church. They arrive, they have their staff, they have their cooks. With the exception of the summer months, we've tried to recently do a pilot program with having a cook in place to cook at the Bethlehem Centers for the 5 churches that utilizes our facility. The other churches have opted to use the kitchen within their personal churches, and so they would come in that morning and start the prepping of food fresh. We cook meals daily. They're served hot, sealed, and containers that are both hot and cold.
Yes,
They hold both the heat and the cold. Right. So whatever's plated is served at its good temperature. And once the cooking is done, then we have a line of individuals who will plate and serve, seal, and then we utilize our 31 volunteer drivers who actually come to the facility, pick up the food, and then they would drive it to the individual seniors.
This was a vision of some ladies. I remember meeting Miss Mary McEwen and Miss Irma Thompson, and they were telling me how some women in their community got together with an idea. We want to feed the seniors in our community. I grew up at a time where it takes a village to raise, a child, but it also takes that same village to take care of the seniors in our community that made a way for us. How does a person become a recipient of the hot lunch meal? What is the process for somebody getting on the list to become a recipient of one of those hot meals?
So we only service select zip codes within the North Nashville area, one being 37203, 37207, 37208, and select residential facilities in 37218. So as long as you live within our servicing area and you meet the financial criteria based on the income housing baseline income, then you'd be eligible to be a participant in our program.
Does a person have to have any type of documentation from their physician or anything for them to get on this list, or they just need to meet that income threshold?
Meet the income threshold, and the age is 55. We ask that they be 55. There are situations in which we will make an exception if there's a disability or something of that need, or a dire need of food to a senior. Then we would take those situations into consideration.
One of the greatest things I've ever felt dealing with the Meals on Wheels program was when I've delivered meals to the recipients of those meals. And I just want to share with you that for some of these seniors, this is the only hot meal they get during the day while their families are out or their families are working. And even just to sit down and talk with them, some of them just like the company to come in with the volunteer drivers. And, I thought that we were being a blessing to them, but I found out they were a blessing to me, just sitting down and talking to them and delivering that meal. And so we could use more volunteers, don't you think?
Absolutely. We are always standing in the need of volunteers and very appreciative.
So if you don't have anything to do, you can even wear your mask and put on gloves to deliver meals to help these people out. You can leave the meals at the door. And again, I talked about earlier before the pandemic how we used to interact with the recipients of these meals. But you can do it as well. If you have nothing to do for about an hour, maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day, come and volunteer. Call Ms. Thompson at the Bethlehem Center. We're going to make sure you get our contact information and say, hey, I want to deliver meals, or maybe what church is cooking this month. Maybe I can go in and help that church plate up a meal. But come, get motivated to give back to those. We never know when we're going to be the recipient, or one of our loved ones are going to be the recipients of these hot lunch meals. And I know we've been harping on that because I'm passionate about the hot lunch program. But tell us about some of the other senior programs that you have at the Bethlehem Center, and what are you doing for the seniors that are mobile that wants to get out of the house?
Well, we actually have a seniors club. It's called the Silver and Gold Seniors Club, and it consists of 35 seniors. They meet 3 to 4 times a week. I am responsible for planning all of their programming and activities, and we do a variety of things from field trips to physical fitness activities. I have individuals come in from different insurance agencies during open enrollment to give them some one-on-one on what options are out there to best fit their needs during open enrollment. we just have a whole plethora of things that we do with them. We have a teaching kitchen where we have a young lady that comes in and shows them how they can take $8 and prepare a healthy meal. They go over all of the products that's being used. She prepares it for them. Then she allows them to sample it as well. So we have a number of things, and this particular program is not just limited to seniors in the North Nashville area. So we welcome any seniors who's interested in becoming involved and engaged and just being around other peers and having a good time.
What is the process for someone to become a part of the senior outreach program at the Bethlehem Center?
We have an application that they would fill out. And we currently have a waiting list because we're limited to 35 people. And again, it's based off grant funding. So the goal is to get more income so that we can have more people actively involved. But just fill out an application and be able to provide transportation for self if you are not an approved Access Ride recipient. If you are approved through Access Ride, then we will pay for your transportation to and from our activities.
And we encourage you, too, when we have Give Back Tuesdays every year, that Bethlehem Center is one of those organizations that you can give back to the Bethlehem Center to support these programs like Meals on Wheels, the Senior Outreach Program, the Youth Development Programs. If you want to do something good and be motivated to help others, then when we have Give Back Tuesdays, don't forget the Bethlehem Centers of North Nashville. The Bethlehem Center is not just limited to helping the seniors and the babies, but they have community outreach programs. Would you like to elaborate on the community outreach programs?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we do a lot of things. We've recently just closed our enrollment, and we are in preparation now for our Christmas toy store. This year will be slightly different from in the past. Normally, we would allow the family members to come in and select the toys from a spread for their children, but because of COVID, we will be pre-bagging the gifts based on the age and gender and having it ready for the parents when they arrive to pick them up. We also serve as a pilot or a resource area for Angel Tree. So we did assist the Salvation Army in Angel Tree enrollment, and we will have some seniors and families that will actually be going to the Salvation Army selected site to pick up gifts who enrolled through our facility. We partner with the United Way as a family resource center to address neighborhood needs and working with the residents in the community for different challenges. For example, we occasionally assist with rent, utilities, food, just a number of things. We did food boxes for Thanksgiving for 50 people.
I'm talking about an organization that's motivated through the love of Christ to help others in the North Nashville communities and beyond the borders of the North Nashville community. And I'm just so proud to be a part of the Bethlehem Center, to be associated with the Bethlehem Center, and all that they do to the North Nashville community. I tell you, we can do more besides sitting home on our couch. We can be motivated to go out and volunteer. And if you don't want to volunteer, you can be motivated to write a check to the Bethlehem Centers. And if you don't want to do that, you can just encourage others to go and do it. We need help. We need volunteers. We need funding. And if you're out there and you want to help the Bethlehem Centers, give them a call at 615-329-3386. Somebody will answer your call and direct you to an area where you can help us to become better people. And I heard you mention about, we know we're in the Christmas season, and we know that because of the pandemic, there's others that's less fortunate, but the window has closed already for the toy store and the Angel Tree for the Bethlehem Center?
That is correct.
Okay, so moving forward for next year, what is the process so we can share with our viewers how they can apply next year, even if they want to get into the program for the toy store or the Angel Tree program?
So for the Angel Tree program, the dates are normally set by the Salvation Army as to when it will start and when it will close with the acceptance of application. They generally tell us roughly how many people we can enroll at our location, and the last 2 years it's been limited to the zip code in our servicing area. So you come in and we would get your proof of income and proof of residence and everything and complete your application. We input it into the Salvation Army's database, and then they would process it forward in order for you to be a recipient of gifts.
Other than the Salvation Army, do y'all partner with any other organization outside of the Bethlehem Center to bring resources into the North Nashville community?
We do. We partner with the Marine Corps. They are part of our Toys for Tot program, where we issue toys to the children in the community as well. We also partner with the United Methodist Church. We also partner with UPS. We get UPS volunteers as well as Amazon volunteers that come annually and actually provide a service by delivering routes for us. So, I mean, we have a number of partners.
So the next time you pass 1417 Charlotte Avenue, you too can become a partner of the Bethlehem Center. You can partner with us to give back into our community. Let's not write our community out. Let's get motivated to go back, whether it's with the Meals on Wheels program or with our youth development. If you know some children or youth that needs help or want to be developed or somebody to partner with them and work with them, don't write them off. Get in touch with Mr. Steve Fleming at the Bethlehem Center. Get in touch with Ms. Yolanda Thompson, and we can partner them with the right people to help them to become better people. Brothers and sisters, we have a lot we have to do, but we first have to be motivated to get out and do it. There's a lot that we can do in our community, and one of the things we can do is partner with the Bethlehem Centers. I am glad that I'm a partner with the Bethlehem Centers. I thank you, Ms. Yolanda Thompson. I thank you and Mr. Steve Fleming, because anytime I call y'all for anything, y'all are there. Y'all are there. As the old folks would say, y'all are Johnny on the spot. If you could have some parting words for our viewers to motivate them, to make a plea to them, what would you tell them?
I would start by saying, one, we always welcome volunteers, but we too also welcome new members from the community. Just come get involved, be engaged, see some of the things that we have to offer. I assure you, you won't regret it.
Well, we thank you for coming and joining us here on Motivational Monday. We thank you for all that you do. I for one, am totally appreciative of what you do when I work with you as the president of the Greater Charlotte Hot Lunch Cooperative. There were some trailblazers in 1894, said there was a need in the North Nashville community. And they started the Bethlehem Center. And this program has been going on longer than a lot of other programs with minimal staffing, but making a great impact in the North Nashville community. And so we challenge you to come and join this organization, come and join us and help make an impact in this community. This is your community. This is our community. And that's what I believe Christ would have us to do, to go out and serve others as Christ served us. So if you need a reason to be motivated, go by the Bethlehem Center on Charlotte Avenue. Stop by. Make a phone call. Because we know this pandemic, this too shall pass. The Bethlehem Center has been there for a long time, and it's going to be there for years to come. But go and etch your name in history and say, I volunteered at the Bethlehem Center. I gave back to the North Nashville community. We're so glad that you came and joined us, and we appreciate you, and we thank you for sharing with us and what y'all do in the North Nashville community.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Just a few housekeeping notes. We ask that you continue to pray one for another, pray for our nation, continue to pray for our families. We pray for those who are going through bereavement, pray for those who are dealing with the COVID, and we just pray one for another. Also, I've been telling you since we did the piece on Angel Tree that we do here at Westwood, we have 24 angels left. And if you haven't gotten your angel, it's not too late. Get in touch with either Minister Booker or Deaconess Doris McLay here at the church and get your angel. And we love you. We're glad that you joined us here on Motivational Monday, and we're excited that we can bring you some information to help you become motivated to become a better you, to become a better Christian, to better represent God, not only in your home, not only in your community, not only in your jobs, but here in your church. We love you, and on behalf of our pastor, Pastor Barton Elliott Harris, who have served this congregation on the first Sunday for 33 years, we thank God for your leadership, Pastor. We thank God for your devotion. Thank you for joining us Motivational Monday here at Westwood Baptist Church University Center. Remember that we are a praying church, praising God, glorifying Christ, and transforming people. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on Motivational Monday.